Good evening, everyone. Some of you might recognize me from the ceremony when I led the groomsmen halfway to the altar for no reason. So, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of something to talk about tonight. So, anyway, I'd like to begin by thanking all the family, friends, and guests who have come to celebrate with John and Michelle tonight. I know they both really appreciate all of you taking the time to come out and share this special night with them. But I'd really like to take a moment and thank Beth and Jim Lynn and Rick and Bernadette Kearney for raising two exemplary young adults. We wouldn't be here celebrating without the four of them tonight. So I'd like to raise a glass to the four of them really quickly and just recognize their importance in all this. But I am particularly excited tonight to celebrate with my very good friend Jonathan. When I moved to Georgia about 10 years ago, John was really the first friend that I made when I moved down here. And I can honestly say that ever since, he's been one of the most dependable guys I've known. Which isn't to say that we haven't changed since 8th grade. I'd like to think we've changed a lot since 8th grade. Because back then, I feel like we spent most of our free time playing video games or shooting off fireworks in our parents' backyards without their permission. Which actually kind of ties into the one story that I want to share with you all tonight, which is a story that I never get tired of telling. So if you've heard it before, I apologize, but I feel like everyone here deserves to hear it at least once. So if you've seen John's house, it backs up to our community golf course. And there's a nice thin line of trees right out his backyard. And then right on the other side of that is a par 3 hole for the golf course. And so John and I were in his backyard shooting off bottle rockets one night, which was kind of par for the course at that age. And most of them were going up over the trees and coming down the golf course. And I remember at one point, I looked up and I saw this bright orange light on the golf course, which didn't belong there. And I pointed it out to John, and I think about the same time we both realized that the golf course was on fire. And I think that was when our instincts kicked in, so I immediately ran out to the golf course and started stamping the fire out, and John ran inside. So, by the end of all this, most of the hair on my legs had been singed off. And as I walked back to his house, John was appearing with a bucket of water. I remember for a few days after that, we were both pretty concerned that someone would come asking about the big black hole on the fairway, hole 12, but no one ever did, so I'd like to think we got away with it. But all of this is to say that even though he means well, Michelle, you'll probably be putting out the fires from here on. As we got older and went to college, John and I went to different colleges, so through those years we didn't see each other as often. But every time we were both in town, we made a point to see each other, and at least spend one afternoon either getting lunch at Hong Kong Star, or later on we would go to Quick Trip and then go to Walmart and stare at the TVs while we talked about the finer points in life. But even though it was always months between the times we saw each other, those conversations we had were always as familiar as they were new and refreshing. And that's because even though John and I feel were doing a lot of our growing up during those years, in the 3, 4, 5 months between when we saw each other, I still think we had that foundation of those fireworks shooting goofballs somewhere down deep inside us. So we always had that to relate to. So I hope that as the two of you go forward from here, and as you mature both as individuals, as best friends, and as husband and wife, that you appreciate the new experiences and the new perspectives you gain, but you also always remember that foundation that allowed you to fall in love in the first place. And so with that, I'd like to make a toast to John and Michelle, and a lifetime of happy, exciting, and fulfilling memories. To John and Michelle.
All right, family and friends, let's give the best man another round of applause.